Swift incinerates homophobia with her new song. It's Happening Out interviews Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Ted Deutsch. On our road to Stonewall, Tom of Finland.
Because they expanded the identity of gay men. The feminist stereotype didn't turn to.
It's all happening out tonight. Join us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And your host, fashion designer Carlos Marrero, lifestyle expert Napoleon Plays, trans activist Aaron Phoenix, reality star Chef Josie, DJ Diva Power Infiniti, Log Cabin Republican Joe Brookman, and our host Al Ferguson. It all starts right now, live on It's Happening Out.
Yeah.
Well, good evening, America. We are so excited to be coming to you from the gayest place on planet Earth, Wilton Manors, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And of course, you already know when I say that, it means that it's a Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. It's Happening Out, America's most popular live gay talk show. Woo. We have a fantastic show for you tonight. Part of the reason it's fantastic is we're going to be celebrating in many ways. We've just finished the Stonewall event down here in South Florida, and all eyes of America and the world are turning toward New York and the Stonewall 50th anniversary next weekend in New York City. Of course, you know all of my cohorts in crime, right? Right here in front of us.
What's happening?
Cohorts.
Oh, okay.
Cohorts.
No, not having any more surgery.
No, right.
I look over, I see you doing this. I don't know what's happening.
I know. He's always drawing me to his breast, and I wish he would stop doing that.
That's my favorite spot, too.
America, we're so glad that
so
you're
much
joining
money
us
on
tonight. We're going to show you so many fun things. We've got a lot of interesting things to talk about. We want to remind you what It's Happening Out. This is a live show. We are the most popular gay live talk show in America. We've had 3 weeks in a row where we've crossed 350,000 viewers. My gosh, isn't that fantastic?
Thank you.
You love me. You really love me.
Weren't you gone that 1 week?
Yeah. Not all three.
Right? I'm going with Napoleon's comment.
Oh, danger. I might be wrong.
Right? A tennis match. Point to Napoleon.
Okay.
All right. Let's. I want to also mention that when we're a live show, you're going to see everything. First off, we're on our brand new set.
Yes.
Look behind us. We're on our brand new set. We talk about in our giant boards. You don't realize it because you can't see it in full camera. They're actually 52 feet tall.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting.
We're looking pretty sexy.
Yeah, we're a live show, so anything could be said. If we make mistakes, if Carlos says some of the stuff that's going to come out of his mouth, I can't push it back in.
Ay, pendejo, yo no sé lo que tú dices, carajo.
Wait, what did you say? What did you say?
And we can't understand it either.
Fuck you in Spanish. No, I did not.
did
I
you?
would never say fuck you.
Wait, did he get it in 3 times? Oh my gosh. America, you can see. Carlos was in Chicago last week, and he's back, and I'm really tired of you already. All right. We invite you because we're a live show. Start a watch party, and the reason we ask you to do this is you help us introduce It's Happening Out and what we're talking about in the gay community to your friends. And so start a watch party. And to help you do that, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Napoleon Plays does a pretty good job at it. I hate it, but watch what Napoleon says.
When viewing our live show in your app, please click share. After clicking share, your screen should change and you can then click watch party. On the next screen, you can write text to your viewing audience and then click start watch party. You've done it. Enjoy your party.
All right. Well, so Napoleon tells you how to do it. We would ask that you do it right now. And by the way, in the last 20 seconds, 2,000 more of you joined. Congratulations,
Thank you
Napoleon.
guys.
You
I
helped
appreciate
us,
that so
right.
much.
Okay. All right. Last thing I want to tell you is like us and subscribe. We'll give you all kinds of notices. Lots of interesting things coming from It's Happening Out. Let's move on. We got a jam-packed show tonight for you, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Ready.
Let's
All
do
right.
this.
Let's get it.
Now, am I going to have to carry the show like I always carry the show?
There is not much you can carry.
All right. That's right.
5 pound dumbbell.
I'm back.
Well, at least we can start off nice.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Let's try.
Yeah, all right, we'll start off
smiley.
nice. All right, before we get into the meat and potatoes of It's Happening Out, let's make a point of kind of a closure of what happened on Sunday. What happened on Sunday? It was Father's Day. We did a special on Father's Day, and we had 5 interesting different perspectives and stories, and we did a 45-minute show on Gay Father's Day. I hope you'll go back and watch it. It was beautifully done. In terms, if I do say so myself. Oh wait, I got to stop that. Please. But it was beautiful stories about the experience of being gay, and one of our guests on the show was Aaron Phoenix. And Aaron had a unique situation of being trans, being in a relationship with a gay male, and the biological father.
Pansexual male. I'm the gay one. But,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm gay, but my
Sorry.
boyfriend isn't. You know how
Oh,
that goes.
okay.
Oh, I didn't hear that part of
Right.
the story.
It's quite
I didn't know that
complicated.
either. I
It's
can't wait to learn
live.
more.
This is a
This is
live
live
show.
show.
We're learning so many
Breaking
things
news.
about each other. today.
We just have more
The
in common than I
lions are
thought.
eating me, America. Please save me. And unique 11-year-old son. And the unique situations at that age in terms of understanding all the complexities. Look, this guy in his mid-50s doesn't understand it much, the 11-year-old.
Mid-50s.
And
Can you believe it, America?
and we hope you've enjoyed tonight's episode of It's Happening Out. We'll see
Because
you
he
next
has
time.
to go to the home.
We're changing
All
the
right.
diaper.
So we want to show you this slide about what happened because Aaron, late Sunday night at Father's Day, had a surprise text. And we want you to tell us briefly about the story about what happened.
Oh man. Okay. So I kind of forgot that we were doing this. So basically, I woke up real late, like 2 o'clock on Sunday, because Pride was everything. And I had a text on my phone that was from Lil Man. It says "kiddo" on my phone. And I know, God, this is so gross.
adorable.
It's so gross. But yeah, all it just said was "Happy Father's Day" with like 6 exclamation points.
Oh.
And I didn't really know, if he was ready to, make that step yet to extend that to me. So it was
Aaron
cool.
shares with America that he had to kind of swallow down the fact that the 11-year-old in the household considers his biological father his father, and then doesn't really exactly know how to process Aaron other than it's my father's friend, and tells a beautiful story about having friends of his in the house and introducing Aaron that way. And Aaron beautifully explains how he felt about not really being the father role or one of the 2 father roles in that household, and choked back tears. And actually you see the tears in the special about how that affected Aaron in his participation in the experience of fathering that child in the household. And then the surprise on Father's Day. And I understand that I don't even want to say the 11-year-old's name for privacy, but probably he's coming to see the Father's Day special and watch that.
Yeah, he watched a little bit of our Pride broadcast on Saturday since we were a little bit family friendly. And so he got to kind of get a glimpse of what we do, and he has dreams of being a YouTube star, so he thinks that what we do is really awesome.
Question, was that the first time he watched us?
He watched a very little bit of, I think, the Halloween broadcast.
Which was completely
and,
oh my
different.
goodness.
And,
Can I meet
a
him
very little
instead
bit
another
of
time?
and a very little bit of the Fort Lauderdale Pride. So
Yeah.
the ones I could kind of get
So
away with.
how was he able to see me as Power and then Dale?
Oh, that was a different story. I love how you were like, no, but let's talk about that.
No, I'm confused.
He saw you on this broadcast when you were as Dale on the show on Saturday.
Okay.
When we
See,
broadcasted
Saturday
from
you were
Pride.
Dale.
Whereas at
Power Infiniti.
Pride, Fort Lauderdale, you were Power.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
got
and
it.
he just saw me fall out of the chair because he watched that episode
Yeah.
too. So good for that.
Texas
Yes, that
American
was
will tell you
legendary.
all about that
Let's
story.
go back to Napoleon.
He had
Jared-
a good
wait.
lesbian role model in his
Howard's-
life, so I
Howard's
feel
famous
fine
line,
about that.
Jared Smith, run that tape.
You have that Halloween.
Right.
You can reenact
Can
it
you
in
put
the
it in a
future.
loop?
Anyway, the bottom line is, America, we want to tell you, we very proudly mention the Father's Day special, and you should come back and look at it. It is really beautiful, and we had no idea that we would have effect right here at our own table with Aaron Phoenix. And congratulations,
Yeah.
happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's
It's
Day.
an awesome
Great to
moment.
learn more about you, man.
Let's move on. We start the top of our show first with the meme of the week. And do we have a great one? Remember last week and the week before that, we talked about this silly nonsense about straight prides. And here's our meme of the week. We thought it was hilarious. Straight people finally getting a straight pride parade.
No.
Is that them being thirsty?
Yes. and they live
I'm
in
missing.
the water and they're pouring water on themselves.
Yeah,
it's a
that's-
fantastic
I
meme.
got it as like
That is
stupid.
great. It's
Yeah,
stupid.
exactly, which is what straight
Yeah.
pride is. Straight pride is stupid, is what we're saying.
But watch us still, straight people.
Best thing of the week. We also start at the top of It's Happening Out and showing you, we comb the internet of things that we think is really great for the gay community. And one of the things that we thought this week was really great for the gay community was not being gay. Doesn't that seem kind of like an oxymoron? Well, it really isn't after you watch this. Best thing of the week.
Playing tackle football with my homies in the park. Drilling with my homies in West Hollywood. Dude walks by me with his shirt off, and I was like, damn, bitch, you fine. Fuck. I'm not gay, guys, that ain't me. I'm just comfortable with my sexuality. So a handsome face and pretty eyes and a rock hard chest and rippling abs. Yeah, and oh my god, take your pants off. Fuck it. I'm so gay. I'm fucking gay. I'm the dude wearing nail polish yelling, hey! Yeah, I'm gay. I'm hella gay. I watch Zac Efron movies every Saturday. That's why my degree is in musical theater. I'm so gay, man.
Dude! Even shaving doesn't take this long.
But I'm gay.
Dude, we're all gay.
Wait, you guys are gay too?
Yeah, man. Get out now, or we're burning your pink socks.
Fine. Go ahead.
I want you guys to know, our editor had such a fun time watching and editing that little snippet. Every time I would see him over the corner of his shoulder, he would be like on a different part, freeze framed, right at the right moment to see, some grabbage, some chestage.
It's very funny that you say that because Jared Curry in our production department edited that, and I couldn't understand why he kept going back to that video in the last few days like 35 or 40 times. It made no sense to me, but he continued to do that. So that's our best thing of the week. I'm not gay, and we thought that was hilarious. America, normally we have chips, and we allow them to buy me a drink. We're suspending that this week. No chips, and
Oh, you got a DUI.
I was going to say she's had enough already.
Totally
Kidding.
Totally
No,
But
he's not.
We're going to see how that goes. All right, so that's our introduction. Let's move into the meat of the stuff that we talk about at It's Happening
Meat.
Out. And what,
we have
are
a lot-
you gay or
You
what
say
is
Gay,
going
meat.
on?
He spurred me on. I mean, come on, it's meat. It's
Yeah.
fun. It's
Okay.
funny.
Speaking of meat,
Spiced
by the
pickle.
way, next week Napoleon is going to be in Argentina, in Buenos Aires,
Eating
exploring meat.
That's the best way to travel. Sex
Right,
around the
exactly.
world.
Right. Okay, let's begin with celebrity hot topics. A music video got launched this week. Did you hear about
Yeah,
it?
I
It's called
heard.
Taylor Swift. And Taylor Swift has a new music video called You Need to Calm Down. And oh my goodness, did she not calm down. We're going to show you the lyrics on it. It is star-studded. You must watch the video. We're going to show you a snippet of it in a moment. There are some of the lyrics, which I'm going to zero in on. We're going to talk over the video because Taylor Swift's production company has this locked down so much they will sue us out of business completely if we play it. So we're not going to play
But
it,
maybe
but we're
she'll
going to
pop in for one of those surprise visits.
Right, we're going to show it to you.
In jail.
And let's show you the video right now. There are so many stars in this. Ellen is there. Adam Lambert is in it secretly. There are 20-some stars, including RuPaul in this.
Ryan
and here,
Reynolds.
let's focus in on some of the big lyrics. You are somebody that we don't know, but you're coming at my friends like a missile. Why are you mad when you could be glad? Spelled G-L-A-A-D, question mark. You could be glad. Sunshine on the street at the parade, talking about a pride parade, but you would rather be in the dark ages. Making that sign must have taken all night. Another lyric. You just need to take several seats and then try to restore the peace and control your urges to scream about all the people you hate. 'Cause shade never made anybody less gay.
Or
and
that
at the
song goes.
end of the video, she challenges everybody to support the Equality Act in Congress.
She challenges
Yes.
people to support her, is what she's asking.
All right.
for.
So what do y'all
So
think?
that and Napoleon just brought up the controversy, a little bit of the controversy of this video. So you have a lot of the younger gays, or as I call them, the young bucks, that are all up in arms and taking umbrage to this video because they're saying that she is using the LGBT community as a prop. It's all for her bottom dollar, this, that, and the other thing. So what? So what? I mean, it really doesn't matter. If one hand washes the other, our hands are getting washed too. Every single step, every single push, every single time that we are getting pushed into the mainstream and that we are getting normalized helps to break down social and political barriers that gets us closer to our equality.
Okay, well, and she can send $1 million our way too to our
Well, she
PO
doesn't-
box.
She has
She
been
don't
sending
actually
a
have
lot
to
of
do
money.
that. She don't actually have to do
Okay.
that because we can see the actual real impact
Okay.
from this video already. GLAAD, actually, the video led to a spike in GLAAD donations, which for some of you younger people, GLAAD means Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against
There's an app,
Defamation.
girl. You can just download the app for GLAAD, and then you can donate. It's very easy.
Yes, and she saw a spike. GLAAD saw a spike in donations. Now, a lot of the people that are bitching and complaining about the video, I bet they're not going to ask for the GLAAD to give those donations back. You know, but you know, this is something that really helps to once again get us into the conversation. And I think that yes, for whatever reason, and I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, I've never really given a damn or a San Francisco treat about this girl. But to tell you the truth, I give it up. You know, kudos for and respect given where it's due. I think that this was a good thing. It was a positive thing. And I always say you could save the world today, and Queens will try to read you tomorrow.
Power,
Any
you're-
last thoughts?
I want to ask Power a question, because you're a music buff, you're a DJ, you're a diva DJ, in fact. So what did you think of the lyrics of this? Because I know I have my thoughts, and I was giving it a thumbs down, because I thought it was absolutely amateur how it was
You
written.
want to know something? I actually didn't
Is
really...
it camp?
No, like it was amateur is the nicest way to say it. I mean, I understand the goals with it have been met. It's great to get exposure to our community, but it was poorly written.
But in
I
quick
actually did not. Let me answer that. I actually didn't really critique the actual lyrics and the song and the this and that. It was cute. The whole thing was cute. I didn't really get into the critique of the song because what impressed me the most was just her being inclusive of our community.
I want
and bringing that to the
to. I
forefront.
apologize,
That's what
but
I'm applauding.
I've got to. Oh my goodness, online, Joe Brookman has just said, "Amen, power."
Oh my God!
I'm scared.
Joe!
That Revelations is just starting right now.
Is he not here because he
wait,
has a
wait, wait.
fever?
I
See, this is what
wanna-
we're saying.
I think that
right?
deserves a round of applause.
Right? Thanks, Joe.
Jesus is coming.
I want to move on in terms of the, before we
That
close
was
it, I
fun.
do want to make one observation in terms of the amateurishness of the lyrics. It's not aimed for us at the table. It's aimed for 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds.
It sounds like that's who wrote it.
Yeah,
And
okay,
Middle
all right,
America.
that's fine. Let's move on in Celebrity Hot Topics. Next topic that we want to talk about is Ricky Martin. An interesting thing happened this week in Puerto Rico.
We've got the Kool-Aid man at the
governor
table
of
now.
Puerto Rico, I have absolutely no idea what he was thinking, created a religious freedom bill and was talking about supporting a religious freedom bill. And Ricky Martin wrote an open letter in Puerto Rico slamming this anti-LGBT community bill, and the governor of Puerto Rico killed the bill just hours after Ricky Martin's statement. Ricky Martin obviously has huge power in Puerto Rico, and as I look at this slide, he has huge power with me too.
I think the whole world
Well,
knows that.
Anyway,
Ricardo Rosselló, who is the
in-
governor of Puerto Rico, is very progressive.
Yeah, you were going to say what I was
So
going to say.
I was very shocked that it was all blame on the governor. We don't know about his hands being tied. Not in that way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
But
also,
he's
and
very progressive.
especially being that the whole island is basically Catholic, and this was, I mean, he just banned conversion therapy in March with an executive order. So I
Yes.
mean, this is not like this was an attack on.
It's
us
not
from
on him only.
Okay.
him, right.
Well, it was an interesting celebrity in the news in terms of, or celebrity hot topics. It's interesting in terms of the effect that a celebrity could have on public policy.
More should
Moving
do
on, in headlines, I want to move into our headlines of the week. Big news, Donald Trump. All stop. Donald Trump is consuming the world in headlines. First off, at this moment, he is 22 miles from us.
Oh, God.
Air Force One is approximately 20 miles from us, and he's doing a big fundraiser. Of course, he announced last night. Now, we want to unwind the headlines of this week in a number of different ways. We're showing you first off the slide where he talked about he would take foreign help until the FEC chairman came back and said that is totally illegal. And he backtracked on that, and that's how the week started. Then there was an observation of, as you know, America, this is the anniversary of him coming down the escalator to hell. And he came down the escalator to announce in Trump Tower that he was running for president in 2015. This week is the anniversary of that. And an interesting conversation took place this week on Meet the Press. And we want to show you a little about that. Watch this.
It has become something of a cliche that from the moment Donald Trump came down that escalator 4 years ago today, he has changed the norms of our politics, whether as a candidate declaring that John McCain was no war hero, or as president siding with Vladimir Putin over his own intelligence agencies, or declaring there were some very fine people on both sides of the neo-Nazi protests in Charlottesville. There's a familiar pattern. Step one, stay or do something startling. Step two, public and press react with shock, outrage, approval, or all of the above. Step three, say or do something else startling. Step four, public and press forget about step one. Wash, rinse, repeat. The latest example, Mr. Trump saying this week, sure, I'd take incriminating information about an opponent from a foreign government. Many heard that as Mr. Trump saying, Russia, if you're listening, come on in, the water's fine. If you can help again, I'll take it. Perhaps the most remarkable thing about this 4-year cycle of these "this one goes to 11" controversies is how steady and mediocre the president's approval ratings have remained through it all. In our brand new NBC News Wall Street Journal poll, 44% approve of the president's job performance, 53% disapprove. That 44% approval rating is right in line with where it's been in the past year, with just one exception, always holding between 43 and 46% consistently. All of which is to say, Mr. Trump's style is both a weakness and a strength. A weakness because the controversies have kept his approval rating from ever even reaching 50%. But a strength because with each new controversy, it becomes easy to forget what last week's fuss was all about.
Well, Chuck Todd's observation there, that was really editorial, and it's completely fine. I Meet the Press was actually a brilliant summary of where we are at, and that's where we're at. We want to show you something else to commemorate the anniversary, because it's really, this week is it. We'll talk about his announcement in Orlando in a moment. But let us remind you what he did to start this era, which is arguably the most controversial 3 years of our entire lifetime. And it started at this moment. Watch this.
American dream is dead. But if I get elected president, I will bring it back bigger and better and stronger than ever before, and we will make America great again. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wow, is that a time machine? And one of the things that we all were struck by it is there was no live coverage of that event. In fact, for us to get that video that you just saw, you know where we had to go? We had to go to C-SPAN. In fact, we couldn't go to C-SPAN Maine, we had to go to C-SPAN 2. That's what broadcast that. How the world has changed in the last 3 years.
It's crazy that we celebrate that as a 3-year
It moves to what happened in Orlando on Tuesday night.
Oh, yeah.
The president announces that he is running for re-election, and 100,000 people applied for tickets in that announcement at the Amway Arena in Orlando. 22,000 were present, and let's give you a little of the highlight of that.
With every ounce of heart and might and sweat and soul, we're going to keep making America great again, and then we will indeed keep America great. We will keep it so great. Better than ever before. We're going to keep it better than ever before. And that is why tonight I stand before you to officially launch my campaign for a second term as President of the United States. Thank you.
Well, as I told you, power.
Oh, sorry.
Power.
Sorry.
Yeah, all right.
John fell asleep.
Okay, stay with us. We're a live show. Come on. I told you right at the beginning of this, Donald Trump has totally dominated the world's news this week, and we're giving you examples. Also in conjunction with this, Trump, the president, tweeted that he is concerned that he is so popular, perhaps America will demand more than 2 terms.
Oh, my God.
Which is unconstitutional. It began with a tweet from Jerry Falwell, which we're showing you right here. After the best week ever, this week, he's talking about this week, no obstruction, no collusion. New York Times admits that Obama did spy on his campaign.
Joe,
and
are
the
you
economy is soaring. I now support reparations, and Trump should have 2 years added to his first term as a backup for time stolen by this corrupt, failed
Guys,
coup.
what are you
Did he
smoking
really
up
just
there?
use-
Wait,
Okay.
I've got more.
Describe
I've got
that.
more news
Come
and
on,
headlines to
people.
share with you.
Come
You
on.
see Donald Trump's reply, and he suggested in one of his news conferences about the support of that. Finally, in the news, it's going on live
completely
as we
delusional.
speak. The president is doing a fundraiser at his hotel, the Doral International, as I told you, 22 miles from here. We're showing you the invitation and Trump National Doral. First off, look at the invitation. The invitation is not for you and me. The invitation was for those people that were willing to sit for $100,000 per person. I don't criticize that. And sit in tables around him for $250,000. I don't criticize that, but I do report that AOC probably does have issue in terms of the emollients clause of where it was held. He is raising millions of dollars today here in South Florida in his own hotel. That has never been done ever in history. That's the headlines of the week with Donald Trump. Big historic. The launch of November 3rd, 2020 begins today. What do y'all think?
Well, if you watched what he said, we could have played the exact same thing 4 years ago. It was a rerun. I mean, there was nothing new. There was nothing about policy. He's the worst campaign manager himself, that instead of talking about the economy and uplifting people, he just goes back to lock her up.
Except he's quite successful at doing that.
He's very skilled
well,
at what he says.
I was about to say he actually is not the worst campaign manager because he won the election last time.
And he will the next 2 times,
and he
too.
beat a Clinton.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering what's going on with, listen guys, we have legislators already in office, and this is for all of the congressmen, congresswomen, representatives watching tonight's show. Y'all have a job to do. You're the ones in the place. How many of us have to take to the streets and burn our cities down and revolt against the absolute insanity that is happening in Washington at the moment?
We're going to have to.
We need to
Tried it, didn't work.
Enough of the talking, enough of the speculation. We already have hard facts. We need to collect the facts and put action behind it.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. The question is, are y'all scared?
Yes.
What you've watched this week, is anyone scared?
This is how revolutions
But
actually start.
I'm not scared because of what I watched this week. I'm scared, and I started to really get scared on the night that I saw him get elected, because it was then very, very obvious to me and very clear to me that what I thought could never happen actually could happen. And if it happened once, it could happen again.
He studies dictators throughout history and understands what he needs to do, how he needs to say it, and what long game to play, so that he probably will be in power past next term. He's going to be our new czar.
Another question that I asked
throw us
then,
in war.
Is gay America paying attention to this?
Not nearly.
Are you?
enough.
Not enough.
Yeah, that's a
Not
great
enough.
question. That's
Not
a great
enough.
question.
I always say if gay America paid as much attention to the politics that affect them as they did to season finale of RuPaul's Drag Race,
What,
we would have
girl?
turned
Where's the
Trump
mic drop?
out long time ago.
I think a fantastic soundbite to end our news segment on Trump. A big week. Certainly in the news, it's going to go on week after week after week. He is going to ensure all the oxygen is sucked out of the room, and we're going to address it here. And the question really will be, from America's most popular live gay talk show, what are you going to do about it? I love him. I hate him. But the important thing is, what are you going to do about it? Let's move on to our next big headline of the week, which is a wonderful counterbalance to what we just reported from Washington, and it's called My Little Pony. My Little Pony, I know very little about. I've heard about it. My Little Pony this week introduced a new lesbian pony couple. I'm absolutely serious right here. It is. It's very groundbreaking because, first, it's a children's cartoon. And it continues to the trend of what we're reporting frequently, and it's happening out, that many messages of the acceptance of gay is happening at the children's level. What do y'all think about My Little Pony? Any thoughts?
Well, to catch people up,
Quick
it happened
thoughts?
with an Arthur just a couple weeks back, and then after that, it's a new Hulu show, and so now this is the third or fourth one that we're talking about. They're just going to keep on coming. I'm so grateful and excited for where this is going to move.
Believe it or not, I saw some of the episode, and there is nothing that says lesbian. It's just two girls, and they just introduced it like that. Yeah,
because they're
people
just
are
people.
making.
Or
we
ponies.
teach them how to be that way.
Bingo.
They don't know. They don't care.
And as we celebrate this, however, we still have to realize, once again, as I always say, we have miles to go before we sleep, because I just got into, there was just a big social media brouhaha about this, where straights are now really up in arms because they believe, and have always believed, but now they're really even more so believing that we are cramming the gay agenda down their children's throats.
It's interesting. I don't, forgive me, I don't want to move too far into that point. But remember, now we have more than 80% acceptance for gay marriage. So to that observation, the number is relatively small
Yes, it is.
in the community. It's just a question of how loud they are. And that's, I think, what Power's point was. I want to move on in terms of headlines in the news, and that is about what's going on around the world. We report on what happened this week in Ecuador. We've talked about gay freedom progress in Asia, in Africa, in South America, and now Ecuador joins the club. This week, the Supreme Court in Ecuador overturned from a court case that was moving through the courts in favor of gay marriage equality, and now gay marriage is now legal in Ecuador, which was generally, it's not Brazil, it's not Mexico, it's not other Latin American countries that might have more liberal positions. This was a conservative Latin American country. Ecuador has gay marriage. Next in headlines, we want to tell you about something that happened at MasterCard this week. Breathtaking to us. MasterCard has announced a new trans credit card. Pause. All stop. it's breathtaking because MasterCard said that their members at MasterCard were being discriminated against and treated unfairly because they were called out because their transition name was different than their birth certificate or other forms of ID. And they bring attention to what Aaron Phoenix has tried to explain to me 1,001 times about the difficulties of being trans in America. And MasterCard said, we're going to provide security enhancement where the only thing you have to do to present this card is no other identification. Your post-transition name is your name, and we will accept it, and anyone that accepts MasterCard is required to accept it also.
But how would they know if it's
No, wait,
not?
wait. Let me set this up. So that's what they're doing, and they announced it. And we have an interesting message that that MasterCard set up for this, and Aaron has never seen this. Watch this.
Handing over my card makes me feel very anxious and nervous.
Just a total invalidation of my identity.
I tried not to focus on that because it happens so often.
I used to have moments of anxiety and moments of panic.
It puts me in a place where I feel like I'm in danger. It just sucks every single time.
They look at it and they look at you, and they look at it and they look at you.
Oh, is this actually you?
Are you serious? Oh my God.
Stop. That's so cool.
That's incredible. That's who I am. That's who I actually am.
Wow.
Absolutely.
One step forward.
That is America in June 2019.
Yeah.
When I saw it, it really sucked the oxygen out of my lungs. What do y'all think about what MasterCard's done?
So, first of all, obviously, of course, I think this is great. I'm obviously in support of it. I want to talk about how this is, because on the surface level, it seems like, oh, this is a very feel-good thing, how touchy-feely, nice for them to do. But it's so much deeper than that. When somebody has when you have documentation that doesn't match you, you can end up in dangerous situations. You can end up, somebody who's checking your ID could be transphobic and violent. You could be, detained and have the wrong documentation, end up abused in prison. There's all kinds of things that can happen. For me, it didn't happen quite so dramatically, but I one time went to the bank, went to cash my paycheck, and happened to run into somebody that I knew from the local bar. And later that weekend, when I saw him there, he proceeded to basically announce my dead name, as we call it, to everybody around. And
My
it was
dead name is what somebody refers to?
Yes, a dead name is
never heard that before.
Yeah, that's the name that you laid to rest to become yourself.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I've never heard
And
that.
it's such a, I am very open. I tell a lot of things about my life. I share as much as possible, radical honesty, right? I do not share that name. I do not share my former name with anybody, because that to me is you don't need to know that. It's almost a form of disrespect to even ask for it. Mm-hmm. My partner, who I've been with for a year and a half, who we are raising a child, he does not know the name that I was when I was born. Mm-hmm. He's never asked. He doesn't want to know. He at one point almost accidentally found out and very vehemently said no. So this is such a huge, huge part of who you are as a person. Seeing that name for the first time on my new ID, my new card, was like, it was one of the moments, top 5 moments in my life that changed everything for me. Wow. So this is beyond corporate, pandering. This is something that is really having an amazing effect.
Would you end up getting
Last
a
thoughts.
MasterCard because of this new program that they're
I'm
offering?
gonna get whatever my bank gives me for free, probably. But I really love that. I got my name legally changed.
Yeah.
But
I have to tell you, and I just draw attention to our host. I'm very proud to sit at this table with the diversity of the host here, of people that are gay and trans and LGBTQ plus and straight allies and straight people that watch the show. I'm very proud to be associated with it when we uncover moments like this. MasterCard's moment would go celebrated, but really in a small way. And we are able to, through our pursuit of gay culture and gay community be able to explore subjects like this, to be able to have this moment, just like the Father's Day moment, of being able to say, we are more than RuPaul's Drag Race and a gay bar. And that's what I'm very proud to be associated with this moment, to be able to show this, because this is really what the gay community is all about, in my opinion.
I'd like to add just one more thing. And it being about, we just left Trump and his doom and gloom presence that he's probably put over many of our lives. Even in this space, even in this moment in our time, these are the actions and the results of people living commitments in our communities. You understand? So movement happens, progress happens, even when it seems doom and gloomy out there. So I want to just remind us about that.
I agree. And America, I just take one more moment to say, start a watch party right now. We just showed you a reason why your friends should see what America's most popular gay live talk show is all about. We're talking about the things that are important to you to help you propel it. And if you do that, you're helping your friends and you're helping the entire gay community. Moving ahead, in our final note of news this week is Happy Juneteenth. It's Happy Juneteenth. June 19 is the day that is celebrated in America as the mark of the end of slavery in the United States that you see here in the slide. This slavery through the emancipation and the end of the Civil War in 1865, and we celebrate that moment.
This is the true Independence Day.
The true Independence Day.
And Douglas Fairbanks, shout out to you. Douglas Fairbanks did point that out in our news feed live as we were on air.
I believe in Chicago, a very avid viewer and
Aaron Phoenix fan. Hey, Douglas.
And Douglas, thank you very much for that.
That's why we need you guys to support us.
Coming out of headlines, those are our headlines this week. A lot of headlines. Let's talk about our Stonewall Pride wrap-up very quickly. We want to tell you next week is our show leading into the Stonewall celebration. And we're going to tell you a lot of interesting things about Stonewall, show you some of the history. We're going to show you a special, we have special guest, Debbie Wasserman Schultz from the Congressional District 23, one of the biggest gay advocates in the country. We're going to talk to the chairman of the House Ethics Committee and the co-chairman of the Equality Caucus, Ted Deutsch. Congressman Ted Deutsch, and he is going to be at It's Happening Out talking about the significance, both of them, of Stonewall, and you're not going to want to miss that next week. We're showing you some of the pictures, historic broadcast of the Stonewall Parade last week, pictures, frankly, that has never been seen in America before. A Pride Parade broadcast the way it was on Saturday, and we show you some of the slides. Quite exciting. I have to credit Chris Swarner as the photographer in these pictures, as we indicate down in the bottom right corner. Very, very quickly, any thoughts about what happened at Stonewall and the broadcast of the parade?
It was an honor and quite a fun time to be able to cover this, and it was really, really exciting to see everybody come together, to see the unity and the diversity all in one.
We're going to show you one clip next week from the parade of hundreds and hundreds of pink flamingos as men and women.
Flockfest.
Flockfest. It was quite amazing. Any other thoughts, or we'll move on? All right, let's move on and let's play a game. Let's play a game called My New Favorite Thing. And we occasionally play this game, and I ask the host, tell us about the interesting things that are going on in your life and my new favorite things. And who wants to start?
Okay, I want to go first.
Oh, wait. This is great. Watch closely.
I got rainbow capitalism, right? Okay, but you got to live sometimes. As my hero Donna Davis said, sometimes you got to get your joy. These are my new custom, one-of-a-kind, trans pride Converse. They have the rainbow bottoms. I was cleaning them with a toothbrush this morning to keep them super pearly white and beautiful.
The pink and blue.
Yes, of course. This is the trans flag colors, for anyone who doesn't know. Trans flag on the back, okay, trans flag on the side. And I've got the special inscription. I don't know if you can see the camera, but they say big dick energy on the side.
But wait, guys, because this is the real sexy part. this is Aaron taking it to the next level.
Being extra as fuck.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
wait.
Yeah.
And don't forget the final moment. I mean, yeah, that's where you go, right down to camera. The bottom side is a rainbow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Rainbow bottoms.
Yeah.
I love the
That
color
is
in it.
definitely my new favorite thing.
Well,
all
you
right?
can't have them.
All right, somebody else. Share with
Well,
me.
we're still fashioning. My new favorite thing is to my fashionista friends and voguing friends, power. I just want to say that the ball continues, and FX has renewed Ryan Murphy's show Pose for a third season.
They better
And I
have.
am so excited about it. So strike a pose, people.
Awesome.
Somebody else.
Yes. Okay. So I just got back from my first judging of a leather contest this past weekend, and I love feeling dirty. I love that grime, but I actually have a new favorite thing that helps me to keep clean. I came back and I used this exfoliant. It's made from volcano ash, and it helped my skin to feel like less grimy after being in a leather event all weekend. So it helped me get that
so
nice
it's for
clean
your
shine.
face.
It's for my face.
Oh, okay.
This is what I was saying. This is what I was saying. I need to use before we start.
I thought it was to keep you clean.
I had no idea what that was going.
It keeps my face clean. It's by the skin chemists, and honestly, it really does make my face feel less oily because I sweat a lot, especially when
Yeah,
I'm
it's
next to
the sweat.
Al. So it makes me feel good after.
Is anybody else here a little bit disappointed that it wasn't for the?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, right. All
Bitch,
right.
I'm sitting next to
Thank
him. He
you.
needs a clean.
I'm
Do
a
you have
top. How
do you
dare
have
you?
So my new favorite thing, guys, as you know, I just got back from my honeymoon.
In Bali.
In Bali. And did a 14-hour layover in Paris and a little stop in Amsterdam.
Will you marry me next, Josie?
And anyways, it was really exciting. And my new favorite thing this week is my wife.
Aww.
Okay. Babe, I love you. And, it took a little trip because we all get busy in our lives. And sometimes you forget to see the people who are standing right in front of you. My new favorite thing is my wife. And I don't know how long that will last. So baby, take advantage.
Is that why the bitch isn't here right now? I'm looking out for her. Don't see her.
Well, my new favorite thing is Rosabelle and their new album. Rosabelle is comprised of the dynamic production team of DJs Ralphie Rosario out of Chicago and DJ Abel Aguilera from Miami. Both of them are iconic in our gay scene and in the music industry. Together, they have hit #1 on the Hot Dance Music Club play charts 5 times. And this new album features 14 original Rosabelle tracks produced by the iconic team. Ralphie and Abel, for this album, they really wanted to show their diversity in music, and for the album, they wanted to show kind of a love for, a love for different styles of music, and that's where they took this. Both of them are friends of mine. Both of them have inspired me to become a DJ myself. Abel, I do credit for giving me my start in my career. Myself, Abel, and Kitty were residents at Salvation. Salvation for years and years, which was one of the biggest flagship staples in the United States as far as club nightlife. But more than that, I'm very, very proud to name drop because Abel is the DJ that is going to be spinning for New York City World Pride. And he is the DJ that's going to be spinning for Madam X with Madam X.
That's incredible.
So when you guys are at World Pride, it is going to be Abel and Susan Morabito and Madonna. All on one stage, and I'm very proud
Love
to
me
say.
some Susan Morabito too.
Yes, so Abel, if you're watching Brister, I'm very proud of you. I'm proud to know you.
Yeah, that's
and like I
great.
told him
That's
yesterday,
nice.
I said, I'm telling everybody that I know you so people will think I'm cool.
Yeah. Right. Abel's cool. Not so much. All right. Now, those are my new favorite things. All right. We're going to move on to a conversation that is a difficult conversation. It's happening out. We try to tackle everything that's in front of us. in the gay community. And a very interesting thing happened in conversation this week about Mayor Pete. Now, next week here in South Florida, all 23 or 26 candidates will be here for 2 nights in the first national debates from the DNC.
Celebrity death match.
And be participating. We are. It caught our attention in terms of the embracement of Mayor Pete as the first openly gay candidate for President of the United States. And a lot of conversation has been happening, not from the Republicans in terms of the red and conservative against gay, but interestingly coming from one of our most one of the strongest of our gay of our Democratic voting blocs, our blue voting blocs, and that is the black community. And there has been a lot of conversation going on about black homophobia against Mayor Pete. And this starts first at the Supreme Court. And we want to read you an opinion that came out of Clarence Thomas in his situation, first on slide 1, if you would please, of one of the decisions that came this week from Clarence Thomas. We constantly say that the Supreme Court is the prize. The abortion debate is designed to overturn decisions in the Supreme Court. Listen to or look at what happened this week in terms of discussion. In slide 1, Thomas was in the majority, but he wrote a separate concurring opinion that went far beyond the issue at hand that was in front of him. Just because the law, he said, has always been interpreted that way, Thomas wrote, doesn't mean that it should be. Thomas argued that respecting legal precedent known by the term of stare decisis shouldn't be sacred, meaning you don't have to follow it. He goes on, it is always tempting for judges to confuse our own preferences with the requirements of the law, and then cites this case, cited by Thomas, and then goes on to write, and the court's decision of the doctrine exacerbates the temptation by giving the veneer of respectability to our continued application of the demonstrably incorrect precedents. Now we tell you in slide 2, very complicated statement, what does this mean? It's analyzed that Thomas's disdain for this ruling comes as no surprise, as he has consistently been an opponent of any LGBTQ rights. What is important about his latest complaint, that he is now setting the ground to revisit the ruling if the opportunity arises. Whether the court has the stomach to rescind marriage equality is a big question, but it is clear that there are enough conservative justices on the court to carve out big exceptions for conservative Christians who do not like the law, talking about gay marriage. Thomas is laying the groundwork for that decision by telling his fellow justices that they do not have to follow past court decisions if they are demonstrably incorrect. Now that's one issue, which we're not going to talk about tonight. But what we set up is the point that we're getting ready to show you on the problem with Mayor Pete comes right from the black perspective, directly from the Supreme Court. Follow us along next as we show you the conservative black Reverend Roderick Reed. He caught everyone's attention by his comments about Mayor Pete by saying, and we show it here, I guarantee it's going to be an obstacle for the candidate from South Bend, meaning Mayor Pete, he said. That is really still a touchy subject, specifically and especially in African American church. Now, I think it could be overcome because we are gradually getting to a point of, and I don't want to say except, but we are getting to a point of realizing this is the culture that we are going to have to begin to live with and adopt to it. Well, both observations from the Supreme Court Justice and this Reverend and reflecting black church across America, Chuck Todd asked Mayor Pete this exact question, and watch what this answer was.
Final topic I want to get to is your ability to win this Democratic nomination in general. And if there is one whisper of you will that Democrats have about your candidacy, many are excited, but you hear the whisper, but, oh, I don't know, can he get African-American support? I've talked to African-American congressmen who really like you and want to support you, where some of their more conservative, religious-minded constituents who vote straight-ticket Democrat most of the time would have trouble voting for you. What do you say to those politicians in Washington who want to get behind your candidacy but are nervous about this?
I'd invite them to look at what happened in South Bend. I'm from a socially conservative community. When I came out, we didn't know what the effects would be. It was actually during an election year. Mike Pence was the governor of our state. He was popular at the time. And what happened was I won with 80% of the vote. What that tells you, I think, is that people, if you give them a chance, will evaluate you based on what you aim to do, what the results are, what the policies are. And I have every confidence that American voters, especially Democratic voters, will not discriminate when the opportunity comes up to choose the right leader for the future.
Well, there it is. It's a big subject in the gay community. We have our first openly gay candidate for president ever in history. And we may find that he is not a viable candidate because one of the largest voting blocs in the Democratic Party will not support him, the black community, or perhaps the black church. That's what gets pushed out here, and we show it directly from the Supreme Court Justice all the way down. What do y'all think?
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I would like to say that, this is something that a lot of people are afraid to talk about because they are afraid that they are going to offend black people by just saying what I'm about to say. And I'm black. Blacks can be some of the most homophobic bitches I've ever seen. And I encounter it as a black gay man, that some of the most vile, disgusting, homophobic slurs that are slung at me are from other black people. Blacks can be some of the most homophobic people I have ever seen. Period. Point blank. There's not even a debate.
Latinos can be some of the most horrible homophobic